I gotta say, New Amsterdam Radio is brought to you in part by Anchor FM. Have you ever thought about making your own podcast? You see, when I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? And most importantly, I don't want to deal with cables and wires and all those things. You see, the answer to every single one of these questions is pretty simple. Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And you can use your phone, which is pretty awesome. Now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. So if you ever wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. New Amsterdam Radio starts now. Hello, everyone. Flobo, Boyce, of course. And this is the podcast for creatives. It's the holiday season. By the time this episode airs, it will probably be somewhere between Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving Eve as we are full swing into the holiday season. Now, those who know me personally know they don't recognize Thanksgiving as a holiday. I take that back. I recognize it's a holiday. It's just my least favorite holiday of the year. So I've already been in holiday mode for weeks. But for the rest of us, welcome. Make sure you get your favorite warm beverage and hang out by the campfire because you're in for weeks of peace, harmony, and good things on earth and all goodwill towards men, or whatever that phrase or saying goes. My guest this week is actually a two-time guest. James Lott Jr. Of JLJ Media was on episode 50 of this podcast. A lot of insight is the episode. I recommend you go back and listen to that one. But since he loves Christmas and he's a content making, I think, machine is kind of an understatement nowadays. A syndicate, maybe? I wanted to ask him about his insight of tailoring his creative efforts into the holiday season. Most products and services, for example, have holiday lines. How does that look like if you're creative? So always a good time sitting with James Lott Jr. and JLJ Media. And if you have some time, make sure you follow him. He will drop his social media handles at the end of the interview. But without further ado, grab a candy cane because this is JLJ Media. Welcome back to New Amsterdam Radio. It's the holiday season. I am drinking salted caramel Crown Royal because that is my beverage of the season, and I like to drink. But I'm being joined by, you know what? You're on so many of my shows. I'm running out of words to describe you, but I will say you are charismatic, you are debonair, and you are distinguished and a content creator of color. But don't call him that because he's a good guy too. Give it up for James Lott Jr.
You are such a comedian. I love it.
I was being serious.
I'm doing great, actually. It's a good week. I know you're being serious. I know. I just did back to you. I tried to do it to you the other time you did it with me. It's all about back and forth to me and him. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. No, I'm doing great, Flobo. I am feeling the Christmas spirit. We're going to talk about it. I just put together a Christmas schedule in my life, in all areas of my life. So again, I started to decorate a little bit. Folks who are watching this, actually, you'll see I have some lights coming up. It's I'm feeling good.
Is Christmas actually a favorite holiday of yours, or have you fallen into like the fanfare? Or was it like you naturally like Christmas, or was it part of a career thing?
So, great question. You should be a host.
I am working on it.
Yes. Okay. I should be an interviewer. No, that joke never gets old for me. I'm sorry. It just makes me chuckle. So that's all that matters. All right. No. So my thing is, I love Thanksgiving. Actually, that's my favorite holiday. No, not for. I know you hate Thanksgiving, so not for the history of it. That part's horrid and horrible.
Sure.
I like the food the best, and I like the thought of giving thanks. They say Thanksgiving is every day. You shouldn't be giving thanks all the time. So I kind of morph into that. So I like that part. But Christmas is right after that, and I had such horrible Christmases that as a kid, when I got older, I repurposed them into something the way I would want them to be. I don't care about the gift giving so much. Yeah. I like the feeling behind it. I like the intention behind it. I like the innocence of it. I like the inclusiveness of what it's supposed to be about. And it's about several things. It's about the birth of Christ. That's number one, literally. And then also it's about this Santa character who spreads cheer. And so everybody's spreading cheer and everybody's togetherness and that kind of thing. I love that part. So I grew into liking Christmas. And then I grew into loving Christmas and what it stands for.
How do you celebrate Christmas? Like now?
Well, because I have kids and grandkids. So that changes everything. So most of I know I'm little rugrats. Most of the time I go see them. I know they know how their grandpa is. They know Papa Jamie.
Are you the silly grandpa? Are you the grumpy grandpa?
No, I'm the fun one. I'm the one they want to be around. Because all the other grandparents, okay, except for one, I want to say Miss Patty, I love her. So one of my kids' father's mothers, she's the bomb. We're the fun ones because we're loud, we're brassy, we say where we feel, and they love the kids, love it. I get in trouble all the time. I get in trouble. My daughter, I'm in trouble with her all the time. Daddy, don't say that. Papa Jamie, don't say it. Papa Jamie, watch your mouth. I mean, I get in trouble all the time. I don't care.
Yeah.
She should know me by now. So my family, we're saying another show that I do, Generations of Shade. I mean, we're all shady in my family. From my grandmother to my aunt to my mother to me to the kids to the grandkids. The dog is shady. We're all shady. So we always have. So I always have fun with them because my daughter is a great gift giver. She gives the best gifts. Like she's really good.
That's my job.
Yeah, it's good. That's good. I mean, my mother's the same way. They both get my nerves every year, but they both are such great gift givers. That's why I'm like, so it's worth it. I'm like, I go, they give me drinks. I have my grandkids. I get great gifts. I go back home. I love it every year. So that's what I used to do. This year will be different because of COVID. I won't be seeing them this year.
Right. I guess video calls and all that.
I guess. I mean, I think I haven't even thought that far ahead, but it's coming up like, in a snow's moment. I've just been so busy. I haven't even thought. I just told her, I said, well, I think I won't be there this year because of COVID and everything. So I'll probably be at home. I don't have any desire to be anywhere else. I don't talk to half my family because I don't really like them. Right. So I'm just like, I mean, I'll probably see my mom, my stepdad, or may stop by and say hi to them. Maybe see my sister, lives 2 blocks away. That's it. I don't have the need to be around family like that. So
for a lot of us out here, man, for the year, like, we're people who make movies and content and shows like that. There's that balance, that debate. Do we go ham for the holidays? Do we close up shop? Do we pass the buck? And I was dealing with this myself. Like, what do I do for my content play? But one day, this past week, I came across your page on social media, JLJ Media, and this man has something going on every day for weeks. Now, a lot to unpack here. We can go through all the shows. We got all the time in the world. But tell me about the conscious decision to make holiday content within your network while the moving parts of your normal content is happening at the same time.
Last year, and you know this because you were there, at West TV, they started a 24/7 Christmas channel. It's now dead. No, I like the idea. I'm just shady. I like the idea of the concept of 24-hour Christmas. Nowadays, people want happy content. There's a radio station around the country, K-Love, which plays positive music. Okay. It's a Christian station. They don't say Christian. It's a positive station. Right. It's very popular right now. It's 100.3 in LA. It's really popular right now. The songs are good. They're all popular. They're all fun songs. Some say Jesus in them. Some don't. But people are looking for salvation, as we used to say, just outside of their lives, just in their regular lives. They need something to get away. It makes them feel good. So Hallmark Channel was the first to do this. And then after West TV tried to do it a little bit. And I said, this year I was like, what if I created my own little mini Hallmark channel, but the JLJ Media way? Yeah. And I looked at all of my shows. I'm gonna tell you exactly step by step what I did. I looked at all of my shows and I said, okay. Oh, my list is always back over there. But I looked at all my shows and I said, okay, which of these shows could I do a Christmas episode on? That was his first thought. Okay. Like which show would lend itself? And I was like, well, Bold and Beautiful Rewind is where I take old storylines and talk about them. They had Christmas episodes. Boom, that's one. GH Dirty Deeds. They had some storylines that happened during Christmas that were bad. Right. Boom. Then I was like, so seriously, I started going through all of them and I go, I have that. I don't normally watch that, so I can make something Christmas out of that. And then it's like, then I started, getting into the whole scripted. I'll get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. But it really just start out with, what are my current shows can I make Christmassy? My Darth Vader is Your Father podcast, I would talk about when Star Wars went Christmas. Okay. And they have and ironically, they have a new movie coming out on Disney Plus in 4 days, the Lego Star Wars Christmas movie.
Oh,
and it looks hilarious.
Yeah,
so I have to. So I mean, so I'm saying, so like it worked out. So like I started doing that, and so I got a piece of paper and started writing down like my shows, what can I make out of them. And I said, okay, this is going to start at the end of November after Thanksgiving. I have a book coming out, which is a whole nother story. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have that lead off. The Christmas book comes out first, then we lead into the shows, then we lead, and so it started building from that. I started thinking, okay, I talked to my co-hosts and some of the hosts of those shows. Said, do you want to do a Christmas thing? And one person said, yeah, I'll do a Christmas show. And I said, I'll do something Christmas. So it kind of built from there, and then I had a scripted series, and then became the schedule. So.
Right. Something is going on every day.
But literally, it's like piece by piece.
A piece by
yes.
piece. Brick
just about.
by brick. Let's
just
talk about that book. Is it a holiday book as well?
So last year, I wrote a holiday mystery called A Winter's Night. And it ended on a cliffhanger. And so I said, so my thought was every Christmas, I'll release a new book.
Yeah.
Folks are pissed, of course. They're like, wait another year. I'm like, wait another year. Fine. So I wrote it, and so it's based on my experiences of Christmas in Pittsburgh, where I used to live, and the snowstorms. And I made it so it's three siblings stuck in a house. They can't get out. What's going to happen? So they literally go downstairs in the basement, and we're like, and the girl goes, "Oh my God!" That's how it ends, basically. So I wrote the sequel, and so that'll be out on Black Friday. You'll find out what happens next.
Or is it the next chapter? And it's
you have to read the book and find out what it is.
Okay, and so this is your first Christmas themed series, or are there other things on the horizon?
My first in terms of books, yeah. I did a Halloween series that now folks are getting mad at me. They want me to write a sequel to. It's called They Call Her Pumpkin. This is my first one I did this Christmas, and this Halloween. And I didn't really end it on a cliffhanger, but I guess it read like a cliffhanger.
Well, if your world's rich
so
enough,
several people, right? And so folks actually said to me, "Well, what happens next?" And I'm like, "Nothing." It's just it was very Twilight Zone-esque, the book that I wrote. Okay. So I was like, "Well, that's it." They go, "Well, what happens?" So now I'm writing the sequel.
So these books are like novels, novellas, or short stories?
No, they're all okay. So it's part of this really short story project. This project I started 5 years ago. So they're all short story books. So they're all 30 pages or less. All my books are 30 pages or less.
So it's snackable content you can read on theoretically a commute. We don't really commute anymore, but
not anymore. Yeah, I know.
If I were to
back in the day when we used to have those, yes,
right.
Right. I say put it in your purse, put it in your bag, backpack. It's for like when you go fly somewhere. I just say lay by the pool, but that's not happening either right now. But yeah, they're just really quick content that it's been very successful for me. So I'm very, very happy. Yeah. No.
So let's talk about this. So you have some original Christmas series, which I am excited about because there is one I want to talk about it first because I'm in it.
Of course, hello.
Mistletoe Road.
Yes.
I don't know if James knows this, but being a voice actor is something I always wanted to do. But I had self-confidence issues with my voice because I have no bass in my voice. That's just the way I am. My brother, he's high-pitched. He's like this. And I'm raspy, but there's no resonance. And so I wondered, and I used to be self-conscious about projecting. Now, granted, everything I do now is into a microphone, which is kind of ironic.
Yes, that's so funny.
I had to get past that. And so when I see my friends become voice actors, I go, there's no chance. When James gave me a call and say, hey, look, you want to be this character? Perhaps I went too method. And I asked them all these questions about what my character's motivation was and all that. But let's talk about Mistletoe Road. How were you able to corral people to get into an audio drama? Because I've seen friends try audio dramas. It's a lot of moving parts. It's a kind of a medium degree of difficulty, and a lot of them don't finish. But you're now on episode, well, there's going to be a 6-episode season, and you now have some episodes in the can.
Mm-hmm. Mistletoe Road was a complete accident. It was completely. I was writing. Okay, so I have 2 series I was writing for, Fairview Heights and Manchester Avenue. Those are my 2 regular non-Christmas audio series, and the fans. On my late night talk show, talking about James Lott Jr. One of the nights about Christmas stuff, and both times it birthed both my Christmas series that are coming out was through talking to fans, and I thought. I work with Crown Media and a Hallmark Channel. I was on projects when Calls to Heart, when Hope Calls. I do projects with them, and I was like, those fans they read audiobooks. They tell me this. A lot of them from the Midwest and the South. They read audiobooks. or listen to audiobooks. They like podcasts. I was like, and we have this big soap called Forever and a Day on JLJ Media. That was our first audio soap opera. It did very well first season. And I was like, And I started making the concept of what if 3 friends from and it's very specific, from Los Angeles, woke up in Christmas City. And that was the premise. And I started writing it from there. And I was just like, it became this thing. I mean, it became way bigger than I thought it was going to be. And then I was like, well, I got to actually cast this thing. I've been very fortunate. I will say this. Going all the way back to my first show I ever did, which was GH Report for AfterBuzz TV 6 years ago.
Wow.
I just have this way of like, I did the same thing. I went on Craigslist, of all places. I didn't go to Actors Access or Backstage, and I went to Craigslist and said, hi, regular people. Anybody want to try something like this? No pressure, have some fun, and add this to your resume. Contact me, basically. And I got over 100 responses. And that's kind of, and for me, I'm very proud of GH Report. I brought Frank Moran, who we both know, Lisa Creasha Line, who are both very successful. I brought them to the networks. I put them on their first show. So for me, I'm very proud of that. So I said, I want to do that again. I want to find people who want a chance. This business is so, you know this already, but folks who are not in the business, people say it's so tough, and that's almost an understatement. Right. It's so not inclusive. That's what it is mostly. It's very cliquey, for the lack of a better term. It is who you know. It is how you look. Even for voice, it is how you look. It is how many followers you have. It is all these things. And I was like, what if I said I eschew all that and just go back to the base and give people a chance? Yeah. And that happened. And again, you don't know what you're going to get. Now, I had a few flakes. I had to fire somebody recently. I had to fire somebody last night from a show. Yeah. You never know. That happens. But 95% of folks that I found, and you know this because you're doing it with me on one of the shows. You did 2 shows with me. Mm-hmm. They're all wonderful. And they're on there. And afterwards, they're all like, James, we love you. We love that we're doing this. You're giving us, they made me cry. Maybe made me cry the other night because I was just like, they're telling me how much they love the chance to do this, because a couple of them were like, we just wanted a chance. Like, just let's get our foot in the door so we can have a voice reel. So we can have, maybe show something to somebody and go, let's take a listen to this and maybe get another role. And I said, if I can do anything I can to help promote you to my people and my audience, and I said, I have folks who will eat this alive. They will love these shows. My hearties, I love you guys. You guys will love these shows. They're clean. They're funny. They're fun. I always laugh at our boy Travis Cunha, who plays Carver. He is hilarious the whole season. He's so angry the whole season. Yeah. And Flobo's great on it. He's great as Darrell. And we gave him his own episode.
Darrell
filming in a few weeks.
Yeah. And I noticed I'm on the schedule too. It was like Darrell's episode. Okay.
Yes, it's on there. And so we're going to be recording that soon. In a couple of weeks, we're recording that. We gave him his own episode so we can explain, kind of give Darrell his own little thing. But no, I guess people, they feed off my energy, I guess. I've been very fortunate that I feel like I'm a nice guy, and I feel like I like to have fun, and I'm infectious in a good way. So what happens is,
please be a good way.
In a good way. When I say infectious, gotta be careful. I'm not saying infectious these days. Infectious. And several of the guys from my closet series, we'll talk about this, I'm sure, in a second. They said to me, it feels like it's a little family. We've bonded. And on Mistletoe Road, Travis said the other day, he goes, feels like this is my little family, my little Christmas family. And I was like, I love this. I have fun with you guys, and we're all connecting, and that's what it's all about, connection.
So let's talk about Closet Series. I guess it's the sister show to Mistletoe Road, one that I am not in directly, although there was a crossover episode which I was a part of. There was. Closet Series. There are multiple clauses? Clause lineage? Clause history? Dynasty for clauses? What's going on?
It's you get a clause, and you get a clause, and you get a clause. Exactly. You get a clause. Thanks, Oprah. No. So what happened was on my late night talk show.
My own business.
On my business. I was just walking down the street. Doing my hair. People start talking about new shows for me. But everybody always, if you come on my show, talk a lot with James, they're always pitching shows because they know I do so much stuff. It's always a joke, kind of. You just do plant life with James like you did. So anyway, one night we had this big discussion for an hour. The show lasted an hour because Instagram cuts you off an hour. Which I don't like that at all. It should go on as long as you want. Oh, you've done an hour on Instagram Live?
I've never done Instagram. I'm like, I can do this. I sit a video chat with you and talk all day, but having a phone, being like, so this is my live. I wouldn't
How funny.
Yeah.
Because I'm interesting. No.
Yeah,
actually, half time I'm sleepy. No, so here's the thing.
I'm gonna do it now just to spite you, but
you should. I'll tune in. I will tune in and heckle you. I'll do that. I'm going to heckle you. Sure, why not? No, so they were saying, what if Santa Claus had a family, and what if his son was pissed? That's how it started. And so folks were like making a horror series, and like Santa Claus kills people. I'm like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not going to desecrate Santa Claus. But out of all of that, I decided, how can we make Santa Claus like relatable? Give him a family where he has a son and a grandson. The son hates him.
Yeah. Because
he felt cheated out growing up every year. Because his attention was to all the kids of the world.
Makes sense.
But his grandson loves his grandfather and wants to follow in his grandfather's footsteps, which kind of bothers his son.
Yeah.
And will the grandson bring the son and father back together? That's the journey. And there's another through line. This is through casting. This is all because of casting. The grandson's black. So I'm like, because I found the perfect Santa guy. His name is Dave Moxley. Looks nothing like Santa, and with that voice on, I ruin all these takes every time we record. Because I'm always loud, like, "Oh my God, you're like Santa!" He's like, "James, you just." I'm like, "Well, sorry, I'm directing the episode. I'm sorry." He's so good. But the grandson came, Robert Waite. He is so good as Carl Claus. I was like, okay, so now we made Santa Claus Jr., which I looked up, folks. There is no domain on that. Great. And the spelling is different. So we made him marry a black woman.
Okay.
So, and then they have a kid. So there's going to be a whole through line of him being a black Santa, but not a caricature. Now, how he has the regular tenets of Santa, but he happens to be black, and that's what he's trying to show. So there's a whole other side story on that. Yeah. The women are very strong. They're not just baking cookies with the elves. They're like very strong. Santa has a brand. The main character, Jenny, played by Tammy Gouveia, is the assistant. I love saying Tammy's the bomb. And so we had to replace an actress, so we hired her. And actually, she was suggested by the cast. They said, you should ask Tammy to do it. The guy said that. Yeah. So she plays Jenny. So she plays Jenny, who actually is going to help the Santas and their brand and bring them together. Plus, there are 2 more Santas, not done. There's the 3 generations. Then we took liberties, dramatic license. There are the Kris Kringles twins. So we decided that Santa has a brother named Kris Kringle, and he had twin boys. Kris Kringle Jr., KJ, which you met on the crossover show, and Christopher Kringle. So they're kind of these Lothario Santas. You think being Santa is kind of crazy, and they get the girls and
family
chicks.
Business, yeah.
Exactly, they love it, but they're not quite. Money. Yeah, they're not quite. They're like very LA Santas. So, but they're going to go through a journey too. Each of them will be changed also. So there's 5 Santas on our show, essentially, basically, and that's kind of the fun part.
And do they live in Christmas City, or just like an alternate city, North Pole?
No, they live in a city nearby, so it's the same universe as because you guys are everybody's in North Pole, and it's up in North Pole, but there are like 3 or 4 cities that are around there, and so you guys can see they're in another one, and if I do a 3rd series, it'll be in another one. So you could actually, in the crossover episode, we said. The 2 characters said, I'm in the next city over. We can meet up. So they're in the same area. And if you watch Mr. Toro, the finale has a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Is that you have this rollout over the next or over a couple of weeks for your Christmas slate?
Almost a month.
Almost a month. Like, is everything locked and loaded? I mean, is it like nerve wracking? Like, explain this. You have this seasonal thing going on for a long period of time. Like, what's going through your mind? I think it's the first time JLJ Media is doing this as a network head. How do you feel?
I feel fine. I don't have. I mean, this is regular life for me. I'm always busy. I mean, I always have 10,000 things going on. So for me, I don't even stress out. I mean, I know it's hard for people to believe. They ask me, like, you seem so calm. I am. I don't stress out. This is fun. This stuff is fun for me. This is a fun thing to do. And so it's part of my life. I don't even like. So in terms of, look at my shows right now. So Mr. Road, the first 3 episodes are edited and done and uploaded. So I'm good to go. So I feel good. November 30th, it comes out. We're good to go for these 3 episodes. We just recorded a couple episodes. I'll be doing those, and we're working on that. A couple of these shows will be very simple because they're literally interviews driven. So I actually just booked the interviews for like 3 of the shows. So once I do the interviews, they're up and they're done. I don't know, just part of my life. I'm not even worried. I'm just like, they'll be done. They're gonna all be done. This is what I do every day. This is my life. I mean, I have a very scheduled life. I have my day planner. I have all my stuff. I mean, it's all. I have everything in order. I took a week off of work, and one of the days of those days, I organized everything. So I have a table over here you can't see. I have a table back here. Everything is laid out, and I can just grab it. And one day, as you know, I was sending out emails one day. That's what I did, was send out emails. I scheduled everything. And so for me, my thought was, everybody else can be like confused or whatever. I can't be. So if someone says to me, what are we doing? All I got to do is go through my email and go, here's we send that email. Here it is. And then you're good to go. I can answer any question you ask me without having to go, well, I don't know what's going to. No, it's all organized. So I can't. That's the lesson. I have to be organized and in control of it, but also let go of control. And if something doesn't happen, doesn't happen. If something falls apart, it falls apart. It's just all for fun. This is not, I am making money off of this stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm making money off some of these things. But I mean, I'm just like, I'm not going to stress myself out to death over Christmas content, because Christmas is fun.
That's pretty, how do you say, astute, I guess?
Yes.
Yes. James Lott, always a pleasure being on the show, man, because you just dropped the knowledge, and you don't even know how much knowledge you're dropping. Let me know where I can get you. We're all James Lott Jr. Soul, my friend. How can I follow you?
That's right. We're all James Lott Jr. Soul, at James Lott Jr. on all the social media platforms, folks. And I'm talking everywhere, from TikTok to Twitter to Instagram, Facebook, all the streaming services. JLJ Media is everywhere, from CastBox to Deezer to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google. All of those, like, subscribe. The YouTube channel is JLJ Media. Go ahead and like that too. SoundCloud is JLJ Media. No, it's James Lott Jr. Sorry, James Lott Jr. Where I have all my music. I have a new album coming out called Vex, the movie soundtrack, that I wrote and co-wrote all the songs. Various artists are on there with me. A movie that I scored. Very excited. That's coming out Black Friday. So check that. So SoundCloud, right there. Trying to think anywhere else. I think that's everywhere I'm at. I mean, I'm just type in James Lott Jr., Google James Lott Jr., you'll find me everywhere. And Amazon books, James Lott Jr. Short story projects.
Don't know how you do it. I will come at you in the new year and come on back, because I want to see how the fallout was for all this programming.
Anytime.
So much stuff.
Anytime. Flobo, I'm a big fan of yours. Big fan of yours.
And when I get that Peabody Award, I'm gonna thank you first. I'm gonna be like, this award is for my mama, and then James Lott Jr., and everybody else can take their line and wait. Always a great time hanging with James Lott Jr. Every time I hang up the phone or I'll walk away from a meeting, I'm just so inspired to keep on creating. There's always a sign of purpose when I get to hang with James, because he puts things in perspective that does nothing but light the fire. Make sure you follow him on social media when you can. During this holiday season, the JLJ Media Christmas slate is one that I am looking forward to. Not because I'm in some of the projects, although that does help. Let me know what you guys are doing for the holiday seasons. Do you have any kind of late end of year projects you're working on? Or you're basically winding things down in 2021? Either are accepted. Let me know over on social media at New Amsterdam, KNAW Amsterdam on Instagram, at new_Amsterdam on Twitter. And if you want to learn more about this show and all the other shows that I'm working on the digital media space, newamsterdam.com. That's KNAW Amsterdam.com. Big things are happening for that brand, for this brand. And you know me, I could go back to the first couple episodes. I was never a brand guy, but hey, if it happens, it happens. Sometimes inspiration comes from a corner of your vision past the peripheral. You weren't expecting it. You must follow the light. And that has been New Amsterdam for me. I'll be back next week with more of the good stuff. Be nice to each other. And of always, the city is yours. Hey there, citizens. Flobo here. You know, besides being a DJ or MC and an all-around nice guy, I am a stand-up comedian first and foremost. In fact, my album, American for Now, is available wherever you get your music. We're talking Apple Music, we're talking iTunes, we're talking Spotify. American for Now is just a crazy take about one person's first-generation experience being in this country when it comes to taking your mom out to Memphis or serving jury duty and much, much more. The album was called American for Now, and it's by me, Flobo Boyce. Comedy Unfiltered.